morning. Good morning. And good morning to you. Good morning, good morning, YouTube viewers. Good morning, Facebook Nation. Good morning to all people, all colors, all races from around the world. Good morning to everyone. I know that according to my post that was up on Facebook today, a lot of people are watching this. And this is what this video is about. So, um, uh, about a month ago, I had wrote something about where I grew up and how I felt about the city of where I grew up. And this is to explain it. You know, every day I wake up, I try to see the good in every day. And every day I try to put a positive message up as far as uh, showing support for all people from all walks of life, that what we go through, we can't separate and we can't distinguish. But the one thing that I say, and what proves of what my video had entailed and what my poem had entailed about the city where I grew up, is that more people, just because of what they read and it was a negative thing, first thing in the morning, some of you are going to contact my family and say, oh, wow, well, we give sympathy, it's so sad, it's so sad. But yet and still, I have over 74 videos, encouraging people to be the best that they can be. But yet and still, it'll be this one video that will light up social media. And this is what the poem, it refers back to the poem, that we want to see what's bad in a person. And the reason that this shot is here, and it's so much that, I probably might be out of focus, but at the same time, I want you to see this, because that's life. And this river is actually, like I said, it's my backyard, because this is what motivates me to get up every day. This is what motivates me to be the best person that I can be. But not only to be the best person I can be, but to wish goodness on everyone. Not to hold things against people. We're so far brainwashed in what it is that we do, that it is more fulfilling for you to watch me jump where I can lose my life, or hurt myself where I can lose my life, than to support me in life. And this is what we're doing all too often, and we don't understand that this is a type of form of brainwashing. And it's something that we have to get away from, because as long as we stay in this mindset, think about what it is that you're doing. The thing that I'm going to get a kick out of today is how many people don't even watch the video and just go straight to the family. Oh, I'm so sorry. I saw that your family posted that, Dennis had committed suicide while he was filming his morning motivation. He must have been butthurt about everything, in life. He was a troublemaker when he was growing up. So instead of looking and focusing on the fact that, every day I wake up, every day I try to reach out and touch people to say, hey, good morning, we can do this. You'll hold on to say, well, oh, he's a troublemaker. That's when you're a kid, and what gets me is that, people will get up and they'll post, good morning, they'll post, we love Jesus, but Jesus also said that you're not judge and jury. So we have to get away from what it is that we think that we should, that we have the right to judge people, that we have the right to say, hey, stay away from this person. But what I say is, look at what that poem that I wrote in Facebook. Look at that poem and said, I'm saying exactly the same thing. But the fact that you clicked on this, tell me that that poem is a lie. And that poem isn't just for the people of the city of Meriden. That poem is for people all over the world. That this is how manipulation works. This is how brainwashing works. This is how distorted the reality for, all the God-fearing people. All the people who think that they're good people. But you're not supporting other good people. You're finding reasons to go away from what's good. You're finding the ways to go away from what values are. We're going away from what is for justice for all people, not just one people. And we need to wake up, because if we don't wake up, we're responsible for what happens to our children. And right now, our children are the #1 target. Social media is raising our children. And the parents, we're so caught up, the parents are so caught up in line, trying to make money to provide for these kids, that we don't realize that, the amount of time that parents are spending with their children today is actually way far less than what parents were spending time with their children back in the 90s. And we don't see the disparity in these things. Instead of pushing for voting rights and everything else, why don't we push for trades to go back into the school systems? Why don't we push for coding, that these kids get taught coding? Instead of building these welfare programs, why aren't we building after school, and why did they take away all the after school activities, summer jobs for our children, to teach them, how to use their money, how to invest their money? We're relying on a system that is so far evil, but yet and still, your Bible tells you this. So, I want to get away from that, because at the end of my day, this trail that I'm on, look at this view, that's beautiful. Doesn't ask anything from anyone. And it's peaceful. You get to see nature working in harmony. The one thing that separates nature from the average, from us as human beings, is if you watch a flock of geese or you watch a flock of ducks, they'll peck at each other. You'll see feathers all over the place. But in 2 seconds, you see them all right back and, doing what they have to do to get to survive. We don't do that. We hold hatred, we hold grudges, we run for things, we run for what's bad in the guise of being a good person. Oh, well, look at me, but look at that person. Got to stop doing that. If you want to look at me, look at me. But the thing is, nobody has looked at me in over 30 years, almost 40 years, nobody has looked at me. And that's the reality. So if I were, which I am not, because I'm happy, and when I became happy, is because I stopped giving a damn about what the next person thinks. And I started focusing on me. And I started focusing on the things that I wanted in life. This is where I live. I am so happy just to wake up and look out my window and see an eagle sitting down in my backyard eating. To see a crane sitting in the middle of this river, sitting there just, at peace. To see a hawk that's flying, to see turkeys, wild turkeys. But the thing is, I find more peace in nature than I find with humans. It shouldn't be this way. It should not be this way. So, today is a new day. We're about to face some things that are going to test who we are as human beings. We are going to need one another. Because like I say, every record is being shattered. And it's not even the storm season. Take it one step further. There's a Category 5 cyclone working its way towards us. So these storms have already been generated. These storms are here. And this is all due because we chase what's bad. We allow what's negative to block our minds from what it takes to make things right. It's easier to point than it is to look within, to say, hey, what can I do today? And, I want to leave you with this, because one of the greatest presidents that ever lived on the face of this earth, his name is John F. Kennedy, and he said it's not what your government can do for you, it's not what you can do for your government. And that means our participation. It means our activism within that. These leaders that we have, you have to realize that these leaders that we have, they're all in it for money. Remove money from government and see who wants to run for office. There is no pay. You cannot get corporate funds in order to be elected. If you have anything to do with corporate money, you cannot run for any public office. And see how fast things change. And there was a man that I met yesterday, he said something key about a congressman who probably is no longer in Congress. Because he said, and one time they said, well, during the drug epidemic, the drug war, he said, if you want to stop drugs being passed around in the world, he said, change the color of the money. And the reason he said change the color of the money is because you'd have to turn in all the money that you have. So all the money that is being made and generated from drug sales throughout the world would be useless. So know your facts. Know that that there's systems up to do this. So again, for all the people who clicked on there, I am not looking down on you. I am not saying this as a joke, but what I am doing is I'm tying all this in to say that we have a problem. And we have to look at ourselves, because if you're looking at this video right now, you're either looking for me to hurt myself or harm myself. For conversation, morning conversation during coffee. Instead of saying, hey, I saw Dennis's video and he brought up some really key points. Maybe I can use something from that. Or someone else's video who's promoting the same thing, which is love and peace for all, not just for one. So with that, everybody, I would love for you to have the most beautiful day. For all people, from coast to coast, land to land, all colors, all nations, all languages. Because at the end of our day, the end of my day, we are all human. So everyone, peace and blessings. Good morning.